that they may have, opportunities that they may see, concerns that they may have, separate from the public meetings. And then also, I would be interested, if the board is interested, in soliciting some input on, now they've worked with 2 directors, and as we, begin to move forward and what we're going to do in our permanent replacement, I want to make sure that we pull the very best skill sets from Ken, and then also what some of the things that were enjoyed by the employees in terms of culture from the previous director, and then also weaknesses that are shared, just so we as a board understand what we don't want to lose in the future, and what we, and what we may want to look for. And I don't know if we can build into that timeline and schedule a way to talk to the staff. I'm not sure how you would do that if all the board was there and not have it be a public meeting. And I don't want, what I don't want it to be is a public meeting in the sense that it's for the public to give interactions. I'd like to really have the board have an opportunity to hear from the staff. So I don't care if people come, but I'm interested in kind of a design that would really allow that exchange between the people who are most affected by changes, which are the employees of transit. But so it's a concept and an idea without a firm plan around it.
Well, one possibility, I know when we do extra meetings, often there are members of the board who cannot attend. Make polls to the board to see who can be there, and if it's 2 members or less, it doesn't need to be a public meeting. Is that a possibility to have these, well, that we plan on not having more than 2 board members at any one meeting?
I mean, I'm fine with that. I don't have a problem with the public knowing. I have a problem.
Sure.
I just don't want, it's not even a problem. I just don't want it to become about something other than what it's intended to be, which is, I'd like an opportunity to hear directly from stakeholders about both fares and then, what they're looking for in terms of leadership, because I think that needs to factor into our decisions on both. Okay, that was my other business.
I think it's a good idea. But that would, when you say staff, you talk, pardon me, you talk about all classifications.
Right, everybody who works here. I didn't have the, I don't care what you do. If you have thought about how we could be more efficient in fare collections, or if you have concerns, or if you have any opinions, I want to know before we hit those public meetings. Same way about, before we hire a permanent executive director, I really need to hear what those qualities are, because I have a board member perspective. I don't do the day-to-day, right? So from my perspective, I've identified some strengths that I think are really important, but I don't know how those translate into the organization and what other skills we might need to really look for, because this is what people enjoy or emphasize in a different way. And so I just think it's important to, as we start thinking about this and going out there and soliciting, to be really clear about what our organizational values are. And I think you only get that from knowing what you want as a board, what the community wants, and then the day-to-day stakeholders need to be able to say, look, this works and this doesn't work.
So Jill, would you see like maybe doing one on command, where we could cover both the fare issue, and like 2 of us go over there, and then maybe 2 people do it here on a couple different times to get different.
Yeah, and I think there's a couple shifts. Okay, I just want to put out there that I think we need to build into our process some individual outreach to our major stakeholders, which are employees.
I agree.
It's very labor positive thinking, Jill, I gotta tell you.
Well, you admitted to 2 mistakes, so I thought I could step it up a little myself.
Can I just make one comment with respect? I think it's a good idea. I'm just concerned on, as far as the labor aspect is concerned, that the employees might feel some intimidation to speak to the board members. So I just my perspective, there might be some sense of withholding, how they truly feel about certain things. I don't know.
We could take oral comment, we could take written comment.
Yeah, right.
If it's easier for people
You could
to
have
write something and
I
don't care.
We could certainly add an element of written comment, which could be either signed or unsigned.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah, that's
or
a good...
maybe just employee meetings and then bring those comments to you as the board. I'm just...
I hear what you're saying, but I also think that it's important for the board to hear directly from employees without having that filtered. And then also, we're not that intimidating. I don't know if anybody has, I've seen most folks running around town on the weekends, and let me tell you, There's nothing all that impressive about any of us. We're just
That's
regular
right.
people who ran for office and sit here. So if there is a perception that we're not approachable, you know, that probably is first and foremost the reason to do a staff meeting. Because that's just not the case. I mean, Lance is a little bit tough, but the rest of us are easy.
Got that in, didn't you?
So I would think we need to move on that as quickly as we can. I don't know who's gonna organize that, but I would sure love to be involved if I can.
So I just didn't want to like give staff direction and say this would be a good idea without making sure the board thought it was a good idea, because
Yes.
last time I tried to do that, it didn't end well for me or anyone, so I think I need to get collective support for moving forward.
I'm for it.
Rick?
Yeah, no, I'm always for here.
Yep, I'm too.
I think the main problem will be scheduling, and,
Well, I think we schedule and then we make sure 2 board members can be there, and then if staff can't be there, give them the option to write something up and know that it'll come to
yeah.
us. I mean,
Yeah,
we
that
just
gets,
have to do the best we
that's,
can.
actually, that's a pretty good solution to the scheduling issue in general. Yeah.
And Lance and Kathleen can come. It wasn't meant to exclude,
Right.
it just, I was trying to get a way to get
Yeah.
feedback. That's not a concern of mine.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure that we don't make big decisions and then wonder why we
Thank you.
didn't ask
Yeah.
big stakeholders.
And as far as interacting with staff, yeah, I can tell you, I stopped in the Camino facility last week. I was over on Camino to talk to them about the incident where the gentleman passed away, and A, to congratulate them on their efforts to help him, and B, to offer my condolences, and C, to let them know that the EAP is available if anybody needed somebody to talk to. And they were surprised and actually quite pleased to see a board member drop by.
So Matt, can 2 board members and our labor representative who doesn't vote be at the same session? I think that's okay, because that doesn't constitute a quorum.
Off the top of my head, I think that would be all right.
Yeah.
So we
It was-
can just,
Let me verify back out. I think the non-voting would not tip the quorum.
It doesn't make a quorum.
that's fine.
Yeah.
So I can just, the board can just can work on it with whatever staff he chooses to start setting these up. You can delegate. I just think it'd be cleaner if we just gave direction to you.
Would you like me to get with Rick to inform him of what you discussed?
Nah.
Or does one of you?
I mean, I would let him know, but we outvoted him.
Yeah.
Yeah, just tell him he wasn't here to vote, so he don't count.
He would be for it. He's about getting all the information up front,
Yeah.
so I know he would do
We
it.
signed him up for every meeting.
That's right.
Yes, actually sign him up for every meeting, that'll keep him busy.
All right.
Not a
That was
problem.
my only other business,
Sure.
is I just didn't want to lose sight of that in our process, our planning process.
I think it's a really good idea as far, especially the aspect of getting input on what they look at as a good leader and somebody when it comes time to choosing a permanent director.
Yeah.
We
What do
don't,
you
know.
guys over there think? Do you think this would be well received by staff?
Outstanding idea.
Good.
Okay, well, I certainly think it's a good idea too, and I think the key thing will be to try to set a little bit of welcoming tone so that people feel free to come or send their comments along with someone else. I guess the public is okay to attend but not participate. There's often meetings like that, or
we'll just work out this
Yeah.
room. Go, you're fine.
Formal chat.
It's more just like a
A
staff
staff
meeting, right?
Yeah, it's just an
Board
informal
members are
chat.
Yeah,
attending.
we'll
Yeah.
give the public can have another opportunity.
We're gonna have full-blown meetings for the public.
yeah, it's
Public
not,
outreach.
okay, then the board will make sure that we don't have a quorum there, it's not a public meeting.
Right, no need to advertise or anything.
Okay.
We have mornings and afternoons, and we also have the weekend. So there's lots of opportunity.
Yeah,
Okay.
to have staff.
and Jill's always free.
I'll
So-
make myself available for at least one, because I
Okay.
am very interested.
I am too.
So-
I'm on Camino weekly, at least once a week. Next week will be 2 because we've got a planning meeting over there, so.
So I think we've covered that pretty thoroughly.
Yeah.
Any other business?
I would
Can
move
I
to-
ask for clarification?
Sure.
Is it board members and staff only? Or, so it might be easier if we talk about executive directors if the interim isn't there, which is daunting.
Oh,
take it
oh,
back.
yeah,
But
yeah.
I think you'll make people shy.
Yeah, no,
So-
that's a good point. Yeah.
Don't be mad at me for saying that.
Yeah, no upper management.
Yeah,
Well, I mean,
well, they could be there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
just look at the interim.
Maybe we ask that Ken not attend and see how it goes and.
and it's not designed, it's designed to pull out strengths and weaknesses, right?
Yeah, and it's not evaluate, it's not in any way a formal evaluation session.
No.
Right. I mean, even, you know, how I feel about previous directors, that there were strengths there as well that we don't want to lose in this process. And I could articulate some of them, but I think that I want to hear from staff about what they valued and what they didn't, and what they value and where we, you know, what they didn't, I guess. I mean, just because sometimes what you always focus on is what the hole you're trying to fill, and you forget all of those good qualities that you have. And I've made that mistake before, where I've been involved in processes where you just want to, like, this is the problem. So you get someone who solves that problem, and then you lose all these other ancillary benefits that you had that you weren't focused on because they weren't problems. And so so I would encourage people to come forward with the strengths that they're looking for and the things that they've enjoyed that they've seen, and then also where they may see talent gaps and opportunities from both directors that they work for. But it's a hiring mistake to only hire to solve a problem, because you oftentimes lose the things that are working really well. So says the person who's hired the wrong way before.
Well, okay, that's good advice.
And this is gonna be on
yes.
fair input as well?
And
Yeah,
I-
and see what they think about fairs and.
I think so.
Yeah.
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 I think the operators would really
Right,
appreciate
internally,
that.
ideas of the advantages and disadvantages of fair collection.
Any opportunity to.
All right, I think we have finished our business. I suggest that we adjourn. Is that supported by the rest of the board?
So move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thanks for staying, Lance.
Here's your papers, Meg, signed,
Thank you very much.
the rest of the,
And everyone signed the vouchers?
Yep.
Yeah.